Yeah, so welcome and thank you so much for coming. So it was an interesting topic, I think, the rhythmic breath, because as we know, it's such an important activity for all of us. So just some notes, especially for those who watch it on YouTube or BitChute afterwards. So the website is iamfree.co.za. And the books are all online for free as well. Just about all the books are online for free. And there's many audiobooks too now, which are wonderful. So you can download, listen, or print them out, ring bind them, do whatever suits you. But they are all there. And so time for questions and sharing after the session. We can open our videos and mics. And then you can go through the material slowly on the website. Those that are still beginning to understand about the I Am Presence, the Ascended Master teachings, there's a link at the top where to begin, or begin here. I think I've changed it to now. So there'll be links in the description box below the YouTube and also the BitChute. And for those that are unable, donations are always gratefully received because it just helps with the traveling and sharing of the teachings, but certainly not a requisite at all, prerequisite. Anyway, so now, Trish, beloved Trish, are you free to read the, can you do the opening invocation for us? Trish?
Yes, thank you, Anthea.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Before reading the words of a master, we say together with our mics muted, as suggested by beloved Lord Katumi. Beloved presence of God, I am. It is thy life and intelligence that enables me to read and comprehend and absorb that which is required of me. For life, I am so grateful. Beloved Master Katumi, I ask for your feeling and your capacity to use this instruction for God's glory and mankind's comfort. We thank you. And now, great I am presence, take me within thyself. There instruct me and cause me to retain the full memory of these inner from beloved Saint Germain.
Thank you so much, beloved Trish. Bless you. And now, so the topic is the rhythmic breath of life. So they say that the rhythmic breath is truly the fountain of youth. And I must say, from my personal experience of using this breath every night, I always do the rhythmic breath. I do like a 15-minute session of it. And then in the morning, I also do some rhythmic breathing. And it truly, I believe, helps me. I just don't get sick. I very rarely get sick. I've got a lot of energy. And I really do attribute a lot of that to my daily doing the rhythmic breath. It's just such a wonderful, wonderful tool that we have to use, and the way we used to always breathe. And this is just lovely. It says, I am the holy breath in all life. I am the flame of divine love in the hearts of all humanity. And every breath I take becomes a blessing to assist all sentient life on their journey to enlightenment. Because as we know, breath is life. Without breath, we actually don't have life. Our life ceases. So it's really an important thing. And this is very interesting. This is from, I forgot to actually put who this is from, Beloved Aries, I think. And you have not known, you have not touched the hem of the garment of power which is within your capacity to draw from the air and the ethers, the nourishment, the spiritual stimulus, the eternal youth and beauty, the vitality and fire which awaits the magnetic pull of your free will and the expansion of its qualities through your physical body. And really, I think the more we do it, the more we get to feel it and the more blessings we have, because it is truly a means of purifying our four lower bodies. So all breath work is done through the nostrils, we're told, always with our mouth closed. And it's like in a square, as a symbol, you could breathe in, hold the breath, breathe out, hold the breath, all equidistant. All lengths the same. So we breathe in. So always all the statements that we obviously can't talk and breathe at the same time. So there are recorded ones on the website under the rhythmic breathing, and that will be in the link. But if you need, beneath the YouTube channel description. But if you need to get it on the website, you go to Ascension Topics, and you'll scroll down. You'll see all those many boxes, and you'll find the rhythmic breath. It's also under resources, so it's there for those. So it's all the statements which we say inwardly with our inner voice, because we're breathing, start with I am. So it's truly our I am presence in action. And so I am in breathing, when you breathe in, and you're in breathing the qualities contained within the flame. So we're in breathing light, specific flames we're breathing in, which is light, qualified with an ability, as we know, which light is when it becomes qualified light. So we are then absorbing it when we hold it in. I am absorbing it. We hold the breath in, and we absorb the qualities deep within every part of our being. So we hold the breath in at that time. So we actually feel that we're absorbing these qualities, and our threefold flame and all those little points of light in every cell of our four lower bodies, our physical body, our soul, which is our etheric body, our mental and emotional bodies, all are composed of cells, which are conscious and intelligent little inner workers, and there's a sun in each and every one of them. And so when we breathe out, that light expands with the flame that we have actually breathed in. So we absorb it into the threefold flame in our heart, and all those little points of light, so we can visualize it. They actually spin anti-clockwise, we're told, by the Ascended Masters, all the little points of light, the suns within every cell of our bodies. So we breathe it in, we absorb it within those cells, and then we expand it, we breathe out. And then you can sort of feel your body becoming this blazing body of whichever flame you've breathed in. All your four lower bodies, your physical body and your aura is just becoming this blazing light. And then we hold the breath out again, and we project these magnificent God qualities forth to all life. So it's the thing about this wonderful breath is it's a balancing breath, in that we're not just selfishly breathing, we're expanding the light that we're breathing in, and we're also then sending it out to bless all life. So it's an unselfish breath. And very, very important that, because we need to balance the life that's given to us. This is from Zoroaster. He's Zarathustra. And he says, I am Zoroaster, one of the divine beings who has offered to bring to the earnest chelas of the importance of rhythmic breathing. So chelas, for those that don't know, are students. It's the name for student in Sanskrit. The importance of rhythmic breathing. So rhythmic breathing clarifies the four lower bodies, the physical body, the soul, the mental, and the emotional body, of noxious substance which has been accumulated and lodged in the cells and atoms which make up these vehicles. So over the millions of years, our beloved bodies have fallen, and so we need to raise them up. And one of the rhythmic breath is one of the most efficacious ways of doing this, we're told. So the more the individual does the rhythmic breath, the more efficacious is the action of any spiritual exercise, because we just become lighter and lighter with this breath. So the average individual has forgotten the proper use of the rhythmic breath, which he once knew in the earlier ages. Those in the times before we fell, in the times of the Garden of Eden, as we know from the Old Testament. And Eden means divine wisdom. When we were living according to divine wisdom at that time. And it was a time where we didn't die. We dematerialized our bodies. It was a very different time. So in the invocation of the divine beings, which we do because we're saying, just say, for example, I am inbreathing the blue flame of faith of beloved Archangel Michael. We instantly connecting to Archangel Michael. You see, so when we do that, so in the invocation of the divine beings who direct the flames of transmutation, they send the sacred fire through the four lower bodies in a rhythmic manner, thus setting up an action of rhythm in these bodies. So when the Chela learns and applies the law of of the rhythmic breath, the transmutation of imperfection will take place in an almost instantaneous manner. So that, I mean, I'm sure we might have proved this for ourselves, those ones that have been doing the rhythmic breath. But often, if I'm feeling anxious, I'll do the breath work. It's just extraordinary. Because if I breathe in the violet flame and then I breathe in all the energy, the misqualified energy from my feeling body, it is just quite extraordinary. It just is, it literally gets immediately sort of dissolved. So the Chila then being able to consciously cooperate with the divine being or beings invoked. Because once we become more pure, we can become much more useful as a vessel for our I Am Presence and the Ascended Masters to use us down here. This is from beloved Kuthumi. So the rhythmic breath can sustain life in the body for hundreds of years, which is exactly what we used to do in the time of the Garden of Eden. And there are, it's just like that. We didn't die. We could live to 800, 900, 1200 years, however long we chose to live to master that ray that would come into master. So he says, I would like to emphasize here the importance of the rhythmic breath in the establishing and sustaining of good health and general well-being in the physical body. Each individual is allotted so many breaths in the course of a lifetime. So that's an interesting one. So often I think of all the marathons. I used to run these short marathons and how many breaths I use and what have you. And it's like that. But I think also sometimes if we have got work to do, important work, we might be sponsored with more breaths. I feel sure of that. But anyway, if he breathes short, shallow breaths, he uses up this allotment more quickly. Those individuals who have sustained life in the body for centuries did so through knowledge of the long, controlled, and sustained breath. So, it's an important thing. So the rhythmic breath, this rhythmic breath is how we breathed when we didn't die. So it's a good one to breathe, make no mistake. So when we breathe out, it's a bit like breathing out bellows, on a fire. If we blow on a fire or we use bellows, we expand the flame, right? So when we're breathing out, we're doing exactly the same thing with the flames in our heart and in all those little points of light within every little inner worker, every cell of our bodies. And so that's a lovely visualization and a good way to understand it, I feel. I've always sort of thought about that. So all life should be used to expand the blessings we receive, or we create more imbalance. So the rhythmic breath does this because it's an unselfish breath. We're breathing in the light, we're absorbing it, we're then expanding it as we breathe out, and then we're sending it out to bless all life. So it's a balancing breath. So all use of life must be balanced and expanding, or it causes an imbalance in the universe. So we have that much, use of life that we need to balance. So that's why doing the rhythmic breath is such a lovely thing. Also, obviously, doing our decrees daily is a very important thing because it sends out light through the power of our I Am Presence and the Ascended Masters to literally help all the life on our planet. Every soul we call for ourselves and all mankind. And it is just like that. It goes out to help all mankind when we call in the light through our decrees and through this rhythmic breath. So the rhythmic breath is balancing our use of life. It's unselfish and ever expanding the light. So we literally create light. If we think about it, we breathe in, just say the blue flame of faith, into the threefold flame in our heart and all those points of light. We absorb it and then we expand it through our breath. So we're actually creating more light and then we send it out to bless life. So all is done through the power of our I Am Presence because as we know, I of myself can do nothing. So the rays of light sent out through our breath are conscious and intelligent and seek out those in need. And our Holy Christ self within our heart and our I Am Presence literally and the beloved being that we have asked to assist us in the rhythmic breath goes and helps and sends out those rays to bless life. So that blue flame of faith will go forth and seek out all those in need of faith. It's just such a wonderful thing. So billions of light rays go forth and do their perfect work with this rhythmic breath. We need to get the feeling of our I Am Presence doing all of it. because that is the power. The I Am Presence is, don't forget, limitless in its power and intelligence and its love. So we have this wonderful gift. So we need to visualize the light going out, doing its perfect work, expand it in our mind's eye to cover the city, the country, and then we can literally see it enfolding our entire world. It's touching every person, place, condition, and thing and need, because that is the power of our I Am Presence. So it's a lovely thing to remember that. So the purification of the soul, this is from the beloved Mahachohan, and he says, the amount that one's etheric body, which is our soul, is clarified through the use of the violet fire of all the memories of all the ages of past distress, disillusionment, hate, resentment, and rebellion, when it is white as snow, and there is recorded within it only the victory of the light. That moment, the etheric body becomes like the etheric body was of Jesus Christ or Lord Gautama. There is then nothing which within it to which evil can tie. So think about that. It is just blazing light. There is no life stream on the earth that can stir a core of rebellion within it, because those cause and cores are no more. And in the purified, sanctified etheric substance of one's world, he remembers only the glory of divinity. That is why we have stressed the rhythmic breathing. So there again, the Mahachohan is pointing out to us how very important it is to daily take time to do the rhythmic breathing. All right, so we're going to listen to a few little videos now. The first one is how the Christ self determines when the last breath is withdrawn. And it's very interesting, this. I find, it's such an important understanding, I believe. This is from beloved Paul the Mahachohan, from the Bridge to Spiritual Freedom. How priceless the breath of life is. Consider, dear ones, how priceless the breath of life is. And I must emphasize, to allow the indiscriminate drawing of breath by the body elemental would be like allowing the humankind of outer consciousness free access to the gold reservoir of the world. The Christ self breathes through the lungs, the breath which sustains the human form, and the breath remains in the body so long as the Christ self chooses to continue the inhalation and exhalation by which the air is absorbed or thrown off. You will see, therefore, the drawing of the breath into the body is not controlled by the body elemental, but by the Christ self. If this were not so, at the time of leaving, the third dimensional plane would not be under the control of the true identity, and the body elemental would continue to draw breath according to its limited concept of indefinitely. This will show you that your breath is drawn by the Christ into the physical form, only as long as the Christ self feels that the expenditure of the pure energy in that breath will be for the ultimate good of the individual and the race. When the Christ self determines that the outer personality is no longer serving a constructive purpose by learning a lesson by which the consciousness will grow, it ceases to make its application to the prana of the universe, and the respiratory system ceases to function. Your outer mind will say there are many life streams drawing breath who serve no constructive purpose. The answer is that we are not dealing with the superficial surface existence of the people of the planet Earth, with its wars and hates and vanities. The spiritual hierarchy and the Christ self of every life stream is concerned with the evolution of the soul. The soul requires sometimes very intense experiences, fraught with agony and distress, which will make such a definite imprint on the consciousness that by reason thereof succeeding lives will then benefit their progress through this lesson. You can be sure that the old saying about giving a calf enough rope is true insofar as the Christ self will never sustain breath in a body unless the ultimate lesson will provide the spiritual need for the next embodiment or the ultimate goal of the ascension. For those of you who have had some mental aversions to the practice of yoga, Permit me to say it is a form of putting the muscles into practice, employing rhythmic breathing for the benefit of one's well-being, and more importantly, spiritual development. The breathing exercises of yoga are presented to the intellect and find a complementary enthusiasm in the heart. The Christ self is presenting a way by which you may safely increase the drawing of the breath from the universe with the full knowledge that in that greater power you will have greater capacity of endurance, spiritual illumination, and vitality. I counsel you to always bear in mind that when you draw on the universal breath, and you have received its beauty, that your capacity is increased thereby, and what you do with breath will be more important than before. In my privileged office as the Mahachahan for this earth, I wish to convey to you, with all the love of my being, how sacred is the holy breath. And I do anticipate your deep reverence for the elixir of life. Humbly, I am Paul, the Mahachahan. That's just so beautiful, beloved Mahachahan Paul. Wonderful. So there we just, so truly breath is the elixir of life. As we know, there are breatharians that live on the planet, living just off breath. And so it has everything we need actually in it for life. So it's just the most wonderful thing to think about that as well. So this is what beloved Lady Master Aries says. Those who have even on the surface studied the control of the breath know something of the buoyancy, the vitality, the refreshment that is within it. However, few there are in the Western world who have drawn from the air element that substance of fire, which is the elixir for which mankind has sought through the ages. By its use, one may regain eternal youth and beauty, indestructible health, strength and energy, transforming the physical body into a translucent form of light. So there we have this challenge and this wonderful opportunity. Now we're going to listen to another video. So this is very good. This is actually instruction, and this is instructions just according to what Kuthumi gave the Bridge to Freedom Cheelahs in during the Philadelphia, when the Philadelphia group was going, and that was in the 1950s. But obviously, it's the same instruction is just as applicable now as it was then. So this is just very good. It's actually from Francis Iki, but I know from the reading that it's exactly what Kuthumi gave. And you can understand then, if we listen carefully to what she's saying, also how that we can use whichever flame that we need, which we feel is what we need. But the interesting part is the last one that we're breathing in. Just say, I'm in-breathing the violet flame of transmutation of holy amethyst. So holy amethyst is the twin ray, the archei of beloved Zadkiel, and they are the archangel and archea of the violet flame. But it's the last breath, and then we start breathing in our 4 lower bodies to be purified by that violet flame, which is the last breath we breathe in. We're going to have a practice session of the breath before we finish today. So let's just listen to this instruction. It's very, very good. This is instruction on the rhythmic breathing from Francis Iki from the Bridge to Freedom material, and is entitled Mastery of the 4 Lower Bodies Through Rhythmic Breathing. Through the control of breath, the beloved Master Kuthumi has told us, there can be drawn healing for every cell of the physical body and inner bodies. All diseases, including cancer, can be healed. This rhythmic breathing and breath control is one of the first steps to complete mastery of the individual's world, for it allows the holy breath, through the expansion of the immortal threefold flame within the heart, to purify all the energies in the physical, etheric, mental, and emotional bodies. It is important to remember that this holy breath is the action of the mighty I Am presence within us through the threefold flame in our heart. As the beloved Mahachahan points out in his wonderful discourse given on Holy Thursday, at first, whatever body has been having its own way with our energies up to this time will probably attempt to rebel when this practice is first started. Therefore, it might be well to just take 5 minutes regularly 3 times a day, and after a week or so increase the time given to this exercise if the individual wishes to do so. First of all, the student should either sit down or lie down in as quiet a place as possible, making very sure that he is undisturbed during the time he is going to do this exercise. Regularity of experiment is of the utmost importance, for in rhythm of continuity, the individual gains strength of purpose, dexterity of action, and confidence in ultimate accomplishment. Consciously see the immortal threefold flame within the heart expand until it is much larger than the physical body, at least filling your tube of light, which is about 9 feet in diameter. This threefold flame is composed of the 3 plumes of dazzling light substance, the golden plume in the center, the blue plume on the left, and the pink to the right. These should be pictured as good, true, bright shades of these colors. The more brilliantly they are pictured, the more powerfully they will act. The flame should extend at least 3 feet below the individual's feet and about 3 feet above his head, the physical body being held within the center of the golden plume. Then see the golden man, the Christ, within the heart, released from this airless cell, arise and completely fill the physical form, thus giving the Holy Christ self complete possession and control of that form. In the case of the embodied angels who have come from the great central sun, the golden man within the heart would be a white fire being. If this is the case, then expand that white light. To expand this immortal threefold flame in, through, and around one, use the statement, O thou beloved immortal threefold flame of eternal truth within my heart, expand and do thy cosmic work. Say this 3 times with feeling, knowing it has been waiting for centuries since we first forgot its presence within us, to obey your commands for its expansion, bringing your world into divine order through divine love. Picture this large, blazing, immortal threefold flame around the physical body. Call directly to your own I am presence and say, this must be done silently, as one cannot talk and breathe at the same time. I am, in breathing, the divine plan fulfilled for my beloved I am. I am absorbing the divine plan fulfilled for my beloved I am. I am expanding the divine plan fulfilled for my beloved I am. I am projecting the divine plan fulfilled for my beloved I am. The above are used on the indrawn, the held, the outbreathed, and the projected breaths as we use them in the transmission classes. In this exercise, particularly in the beginning, one could just do the 4 above statements once, and once for each of the following. I am inbreathing the full accumulation of all the good in my causal body. I am absorbing the full accumulation of all the good in my causal body. I am expanding the full accumulation of all the good in my causal body. I am projecting the full accumulation of all the good in my causal body. Follow this with, I am inbreathing the nature of God for my beloved Holy Christ self. I am absorbing the nature of God for my beloved Holy Christ self. I am expanding the nature of God for my beloved Holy Christ self. I am projecting the nature of God for my beloved Holy Christ self. Having done that, you have prepared your altar of the sacred fire by qualifying it with the full perfection of your 3 higher vehicles, your I am presence, your causal body, and your Holy Christ self. You have now consciously drawn the full power and authority of the perfection of your life stream into this threefold flame, anchored within and expanded from your heart. Now, in order to increase the power, activity, and quality of any specific virtue of the immortal, victorious, threefold flame of God within your heart, you can consciously invite the fully gathered momentum of any God-free being to accelerate that particular virtue through that flame within your heart. For this exercise, we have chosen the violet fire of transmutation, as purification is most required by unascended beings at this hour, calling into action the assistance of holy amethyst, the archai, who represents the purifying feeling of the violet fire. Then for the purification of the four lower bodies, through the threefold activity of the flame, see that large expanded threefold flame turn completely violet, dazzling and blazing bright. The flame in all-powerful action. See the three plumes of pink, gold, and blue all turn violet. The more powerful you want the flame, the deeper you visualize its color, and the more dazzling you picture its action. Then you say the statement, I am inbreathing the violet fire of transmutation of holy amethyst. I am absorbing the violet fire of transmutation of holy amethyst. I am expanding the violet fire of transmutation from holy amethyst. I am projecting the violet fire of transmutation of holy amethyst. Now the stage is completely set for the purification of the four lower bodies. Consciously begin to draw into this all-powerful violet fire, by which you are now surrounded, all the impurity in your emotional or feeling body, drawing it in on the in-breath into the purifying flame. Hold it there on the absorbing or held breath, feeling it being purified in that furnace of sacred fire. Then breathe that purified energy out again into the emotional body on the expanding or out-breath, and project its purification out into the atmosphere around you and into the transmission flame, which is constantly encircling the earth during the period of its 30-day service each month. We suggest the following statement be used for indrawing the impurities of each body in turn, as that substance is drawn into the sacred fire. I am inbreathing for purification all the energy of my feeling world. On the statement, feel it drawn in. I am absorbing for purification all the energy of my feeling world. On this held breath, feel it purified. I am expanding this purified energy of Christ's perfection into my feeling world. Here, see that energy expand into the atmosphere around you. I am projecting this purified energy of Christ's perfection into my feeling world. Now see this purified energy being released into the atmosphere and expanding in your world and all the world. Then take the impure energy from your mental body in the same manner, using the same technique as is suggested for the emotional body. After that, do the same for the etheric body and then the physical. As we said above in the beginning, it is best to stay with this practice about 5 minutes at a time. The time can be increased as the individual gets more and more accustomed to managing the breath, and the bodies begin to realize that they have met their eternal, loving, but unyielding master at last. Of course, one may use the threefold flame in any color he wishes, according to the quality he desires to charge into these four lower bodies. We use the violet because the great need of transmutation of the impure energies there. Beloved Saint Germain said years ago that today about 90% of the energy of the unascended individual's world is qualified with discord. For that reason, we suggested the violet fire first. However, if one wants to charge these bodies with truth, for instance, of course that flame would be colored with the individual's mind's eye with a beautiful shade of emerald green. If divine love is desired, the color of the flame would be a beautiful shade of pink, and so on. Blue for energy, power, and faith, dazzling white for purity, crystal, iridescent for resurrection, yellow for illumination, gold for peace and ministration and blessings to all. The deeper the shade and the more dazzling the color used, the greater the power drawn through that particular flame. The greater the feeling and the love for the flame, the greater the power drawn through that particular flame. The technique is the same for all the flames, just change the color of the threefold flame in, through, and around the body to render the desired service of qualification. So that's good, clear instruction, I think, for all of us to understand how we can breathe it. We breathe it in, absorb it, expand it, and project it, and how it actually clarifies and clears and transmutes all the misqualified energy in our lower bodies. Just such a powerful way of doing it. Okay, so we're going to listen to there's just two more videos. This is just lovely. It's the holiness of the breath, and it's directly from the beloved I Am Presence. It was recorded in the time of the Bridge to Freedom Philadelphia group, and it's just lovely. It really touches my heart, this one, so enjoy it. The holy breath from the healing chalice. Beloved children of the one breath, inbreathing the divine essence of God being, know thou that within my breath abides the fullness of thy God perfection. Pulsating within thy mortal forms, the breath of my being imparts its life, intelligence, and power for the use of each individual self as it functions in the world of form. I am that breath. Within it is my perfection for thee. Breath is the divine fuel empowering the motor of thy beings. Within it are the powers of which thou hast not yet even dreamed. Man uses the divine essence of myself and with abandon wastes its priceless energies in the dissipations of the flesh. Children of my heart, children of my breath, be thou still and know me. Breathe into thyselves the flame breath of the Father, Mother God. Love the breath, for within it abides the fullness of all thy heart's desires. Bless each breath as it gently enlivens thy mortal forms with its vitalizing presence within thine own separate worlds. Absorb the fiery essence of the breath, recharging all the substance of thy beings with God life. Renew thyself with each new breath. O children of my heart, I am the will of God within thy breath. I am the love of God within thy breath. I am the cohesive essence of that will and that love. I am the flaming breath of thine own God selves. If thou dost will it so, it can set thee free. Permit my breath to stimulate into renewed action the dulled senses which abide within thine own potentialities. Fan the flame of freedom, which my breath is, until every electron within thy being becomes a star of light. Disease, unhappiness, fear, pain, distress, and all the limitations of the flesh are outcasts in the flaming breath of my being. Either thou must breathe the air of earth, polluted by the wayward desires of other men, or raising thine own heartbeats unto me, accept the holy breath of me, thy God, who made thee, and walk the earth in freedom's flame. I am thy breath. I am thy freedom now, from deep within the secret place within thee, breathing deeply of the divine essence of the God presence, which is myself. Feel the expansion of that flaming breath within thee. Let the burden of thy limitations and distress be transformed into happiness, beauty, and perfection, with which it was at first endowed. Breathe in this fiery breath from God's perfection. So let's now breathe in the beautiful, fiery breath of God's perfection. As we breathe in, we hold the breath, we breathe out, and we hold the breath. We say inwardly, I am inbreathing the fiery breath of God's perfection. I am absorbing the fiery breath of God's perfection. I am expanding the fiery breath of God's perfection. I am projecting the fiery breath of God's perfection. I am inbreathing the fiery breath of God's perfection. I am absorbing the fiery breath of God's perfection. I am expanding the fiery breath of God's perfection. I am projecting the fiery breath of God's perfection. I am inbreathing the fiery breath of God's perfection. I am absorbing the fiery breath of God's perfection. I am expanding the fiery breath of God's perfection. I am projecting the fiery breath of God's perfection. And so be it, beloved, I am. Okay, so there we can see how just holy the breath is. And just what a blessing it is for all of us to actually know, to understand more about the breath. It's just such a true blessing, I believe, for all of us. And now this is the last one. It's from Beloved Lord Kuthumi, directly from Beloved Kuthumi. It's just short. It's just 3 minutes. But how he explains how we can actually direct the breath to any part of our physical body and our mental and emotional bodies, or at our soul, any part that we feel needs particular help at the time. So just say we've got, something that needs healing in our physical body, we can direct the breath to it. And there that light is doing its perfect work. So it's just a wonderful thing. So we're just going to listen to this last one. Then we're going to have actually a practice session, just 5 minutes, breathing in, which we'll go through that just before we start. But now we're going to listen to this last one from Beloved Kuthumi. This is instruction from Beloved Lord Kuthumi from the Bridge to Freedom Material Bulletin Book 2, Expanding Consciousness Through Rhythmic Breath. Beloved ones, sometimes it takes several embodiments for a life stream to perfect some God-given design, and sometimes other life streams who will follow after you will benefit by all the service and application which you have made and your dear interest in the bringing in this kingdom of righteousness to the earth. I am, of course, also deeply interested in the rhythmic breath, and I refer you to the fundamentals of breathing, insofar as they are connected with the precipitation of good health in your body, alertness in your mind, stability in your emotions, and purity in your etheric vehicle. When you absorb the breath of life into your nostrils with every in-breath, which is gently, rhythmically drawn into your body, you are drawing the very life essence of the universe to bless you. While you are holding that breath within your body, you can come to a point wherein and whereby you can direct that breath while it is still within your body to any portion thereof that seems to require help and assistance. Then, as you begin to expand that consecrated breath, it flows from the pores of your body into the atmosphere around you and becomes part of your beautiful aura. And then, with the strength of your breath, you can project it safely further and further and further without strain. You in-breathe it and absorb it and expand it and project it with the motive of blessing yourselves and others. Young Chilas cannot do this safely for long periods of time, here in the West particularly, but the importance is the rhythm that is within the use of your breath, in the inbreathing and absorbing and expanding and projecting. You feel it with me closely, the inbreathing, the absorbing, the expanding, and the projecting. That is a most marvelous process, as it is developed for stabilizing yourself. If you take time, a few minutes several times a day, just to go over that, you will find a release of the tensions that do mount when an individual has outer pressures upon them, as well as during the time just before going to sleep. There is a saying that you have in your outer world terminology, take time to be holy, and yet that is so often forgotten by those who are so sincere that I say to you, my beloved and blessed ones, do take this time to be holy in the use of that breath of life. Oh, there we go. What's so lovely? So remember when we got the instruction from Kathumi, as it was given by Francis Iki, but the Christ self, don't forget, there is the Christ self within the threefold flame in our heart. So when we breathe it in and we breathe, we know that the Christ self is then taking command of this breath. As we expand it, the Christ self in us expands as well. So that's why they say, I think Kathumi says that, we expand our consciousness, we raise our consciousness through this rhythmic breath as well. The rhythmic breath is such an important thing for all of us to use and to understand. And I just love it. I mean, I share it at every workshop. Obviously, it's on the second day. But I mean, and I never tire of it. I always learn more every single workshop because something deeper kind of sinks in. It's quite extraordinary. And it's just so wonderful. I just love it. And so now we're going to have this time, just 5 minutes of doing the practice. We're actually going to practice. So the breath, as we know, deep, take a very slow, deep breath in. And there is I am in breathing, whatever we're actually in breathing, whether it's from our three higher bodies, our I am presence, our causal body, or the nature of our beloved Holy Christ self. We're then going to breathe in the 7 colors of the rays related to the various archangels, and actually the violet flame we're using the Archai, which is, just a feminine part to Zadkiel. And then we're going to breathe in, because the last flame we breathe in, as I said earlier, is the violet flame. Breathe in all the energy that needs to be purified in our emotional bodies or our feeling world. They actually refer to it as world, because it isn't just in our bodies, it's also our feeling world. We're bringing it in, bearing in mind we have the all power of the God within us, the mighty I am, and the Christ of doing this purification process. So we're breathing that energy in from our feeling world. We then do it from our mental world, our mental body. Then we come in from the soul, the etheric body, and then from the physical. So it's just a wonderful purifying process, this rhythmic breath, and very, very good for keeping us energized, keeping us healthy, and maintaining balance in our emotions. They say it's a balance in our emotions, control of our mental bodies, our minds, making our souls clear and perfectly clear, and health in our bodies, our physical bodies. So it's really quite amazing. So then we always start off calling to a particular ascended master. So this time we're going to call to Kathumi. So when it just says that we call in, when we start, you'll see we'll have a little gap for calling an ascended master. Maybe we'll call to Kathumi to help us all this time, because he's truly one of the great teachers of the rhythmic breath. And then we're going to do the breath work. Okay, so we're going to start now. Thanks, everybody. This is a recording for daily breathing exercises. We always start off by calling by the power, the love, and the authority of our beloved I am presence to an ascended master of our choice. We can say something like, beloved I am presence, through your blessed love, power, and authority, I invoke. You might want to call to beloved Lord Kathumi or any ascended master that you particularly like to call to. And we always start by invoking and speaking directly to our beloved immortal threefold flame within our heart. And it's suggested by Lord Kathumi that we say, and we can all say this together, beloved immortal threefold flame of truth within my heart, expand, 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 and do thy cosmic work. Then we empty our lungs and we start the breathing exercises. We breathe in. I am in-breathing the divine plan fulfilled for my beloved I am. I am absorbing the divine plan fulfilled for my beloved I am. I am expanding the divine plan fulfilled for my beloved I am. I am projecting the divine plan fulfilled for my beloved I am. I am inbreathing all the accumulated good in my causal body. I am absorbing all the accumulated good in my causal body. I am expanding all the accumulated good in my causal body. I am projecting all the accumulated good in my causal body. I am inbreathing the nature of God for my beloved Holy Christ Self. I am absorbing the nature of God for my beloved Holy Christ Self. I am expanding the nature of God for my beloved Holy Christ Self. I am projecting the nature of God for my beloved Holy Christ Self. I am inbreathing the blue flame of faith, beloved Archangel Michael. I am absorbing the blue flame of faith of beloved Archangel Michael. I am expanding the blue flame of faith of beloved Archangel Michael. I am projecting the blue flame of faith of beloved Archangel Michael. I am inbreathing the golden yellow flame of wisdom of beloved Jophiel. I am absorbing the golden yellow flame of wisdom of beloved Jophiel. I am expanding the golden yellow flame of wisdom of beloved Jophiel. I am projecting the golden yellow flame of wisdom of beloved Jophiel. I am inbreathing the pink flame of divine love of beloved Chamuel. I am absorbing the pink flame of divine love of beloved Chamuel. I am expanding the pink flame of divine love of beloved Chamuel. I am projecting the pink flame of divine love of beloved Chamuel. I am inbreathing the white flame of purity of beloved Gabriel. I am absorbing the white flame of purity of beloved Gabriel. I am expanding the white flame of purity of beloved Gabriel. I am projecting the white flame of purity of beloved Gabriel. I am inbreathing the green flame of truth of beloved Raphael. I am absorbing the green flame of truth of beloved Raphael. I am expanding the green flame of truth of beloved Raphael. I am projecting the green flame of truth of beloved Raphael. I am inbreathing the ruby gold flame of peace of beloved Uriel. I am absorbing the ruby gold flame of peace of beloved Uriel. I am expanding the ruby gold flame of peace of beloved Uriel. I am projecting the ruby gold flame of peace of beloved Uriel. I am inbreathing the violet flame of transmutation of beloved Amethyst. I am absorbing the violet flame of transmutation of beloved Amethyst. I am expanding the violet flame of transmutation of beloved Amethyst. I am projecting the violet flame of transmutation of beloved Amethyst. I am inbreathing for purification all the energy in my feeling world. I am absorbing for purification all the energy in my feeling world. I am expanding that purified energy of Christ's perfection into my feeling world. I am projecting that purified energy of Christ's perfection into my feeling world. I am inbreathing for purification all the energy in my mental world. I am absorbing for purification all the energy in my mental world. I am expanding this purified energy of Christ's perfection into my mental world. I am projecting this purified energy of Christ's perfection into my mental world. I am inbreathing for purification all the energy in my etheric world. I am absorbing for purification all the energy in my etheric world. I am expanding this purified energy of Christ's perfection into my etheric world. I am projecting this purified energy of Christ's perfection into my etheric world. I am inbreathing for purification all the energy in my physical world. I am absorbing for purification all the energy in my physical world. I am expanding this purified energy of Christ's perfection into my physical world. I am projecting this purified energy of Christ's perfection into my physical world. And we always remember through our breathing exercises that the I am presence is in action, because all the statements are prefaced with I am. And so we give deep love and gratitude to our I am presence, the threefold flame in our heart, and the beloved Ascended Master that assisted us. We thank you. Okay, so there we have it. So I hope that went well for everybody, and I'm sure a lot of you, because I know quite a few of you have been to many workshops and things, so I'm sure been using it a lot. But it is just such a wonderful thing to practice and to do daily. All right, so very important is discipline, dedication, and constancy really determine our results. So as beloved Saint Germain has said to us, 1 foot in the light and 1 foot in the dark, very little light. So that's why it's really good to be determined and disciplined in our applications that the Ascended Masters have given for us, so that we can really be these light bearers and assist our beloved planet at this crucial and critical time of this cosmic in-breath. And I know in past weeks we've been through the cosmic in-breath, and so we know what's happening on our beloved Earth. There's a lot of change to come still, especially over the next 2,000 years, a lot of change. But they need us dedicated and disciplined beloved Sheilas in the slow realm to do the work. Anyway, so trustworthiness with the light determines the amount released to us. So the more we manage our mental bodies, our emotional bodies, the more trustworthy we are with the light, and the more that will be released to us. So that's always a good thing to think about. And so that's it, beloved. So we're going to just do the closing invocation now. And I'm just thinking who might like to do that. Who's got a screen to read? Ina, do you have a screen, beloved? Can you read the closing invocation? Not sure whether Ina's going to be doing that. Was beloved Jen. Jen, can you do it for us? Oh, Ina's there now. Ina?
I'm here, but my screen is very small. If it's possible for somebody else to read, please, if it's possible.
Of course, we'll ask Jen. Jen, can you do it for us?
Hi, Anthea. Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you beautifully.
Beloved, I am presence, and beloved Master Kutumi, nourish the seeds planted in my consciousness, so that the ideas entrusted to me become manifest flowers of perfect expression in my world and the world of all my fellow men. Excuse me. Beloved presence of God, I am. Pour thy light of thy great glory upon my consciousness and nourish the seeds planted by the Masters. We thank you.
Thank you, beloved Jen. Perfect.
Thank you.
Lovely. I'm just going to stop the recording now.